The latest Aaron Rodgers rumor is the biggest bunch of garbage I have ever seen. If you believe it, you're an idiot. Let's talk about it in today's Jake Asman show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We didn't shock nobody. Another freaking game. Y'all fought your asses off. That was awesome.
My intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Hit it!
We have Garrett Wilson. Let's freaking go. We have Brees Hall. We are ready to win. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have an elite defense. You're welcome on the Jet bandwagon. Now, let's talk about the New York Jets. This is the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. Welcome in, everyone. Appreciate you taking the time to watch the program. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. We are 8 days away from the NFL draft, and well, the Jets right now have a quarterback depth chart of Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, and Chris Streveler. Obviously, a Rodgers deal is coming. We don't know when exactly, but we do know this. It's happening. And I saw something today, and enough people sent it my way that I'm like, am I really going to have to do a video talking about this ridiculous rumor? But I guess we are. So there's a story out there that the Tennessee Titans could look to get involved in the Aaron Rodgers trade situation if a deal with the Jets doesn't happen. So I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? Is it coming from someone that has a history of breaking stories? Is it coming from an outlet that, posts credible information? Is it coming from ESPN, NFL Network, Fox Sports? Is it coming from anyone that has ever covered NFL football before, a la Trey Wingo? The answer to all those questions is no, it is not. So if you bring up the Titans rumor as if it's fact or true, you're automatically sent to the shadow realm. Let me explain. In fact, I'm actually going to show you how we today do such a terrible job as sports fans gathering information and not understanding what a credible source is and what isn't. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. We have never done this before, but we have no choice. We're going to go to this website, yardbarker.com, because that is where this story comes from. Now, it doesn't even come from yardbarker.com. The story was originally posted on some fakakta website I'd never heard of, and I work in sports media. I am an afternoon drive in the fourth biggest city in the country, and I have never even heard of NFL Analysis Network. Maybe I'm ignorant, or maybe I'm not a dumbass. I don't know. But that's where this story is originally posted, all right? So let's go to the source, because this headline is garbage. Titans have reached out to the Packers on a Rodgers trade. No, they haven't. Okay, here we go. We're clicking NFL Analysis Network. Apparently, they do analysis of all 32 teams in the league. Well, they need someone better covering the Jets. Here's the story where this BS Titans rumor came from. You guys ready for this? Executive reveals major prediction for Jets-Packers on an Aaron Rodgers trade. All right, here we go. Let's go full screen for this one, folks. Here we go. And let me even remove the Chiron tab here so we really could dive in to this garbage. All right, here we go. Executive reveals major prediction. So this is opinion. This is not based on anything. Okay, well, who's the executive? Is it a former GM? Is it, a player personnel director? Who's the person they spoke to? Okay, well, let's scroll down in the story. Here we go. All signs are still pointing to the Jets ultimately coming away with Aaron Rodgers, but other teams are beginning to monitor the situation. The Titans are the most recent team in touch with the Packers, and there are rumors about the Niners also getting involved. Yeah, that was started by a New York radio host who has no credibility breaking Jet stories. Sorry, no one else thinks that's going to be the case. When yesterday, Ian Rappaport said on either NFL Network or McAfee, he thinks the trade gets done this week. Okay, well, apparently they have some sort of executive that said Aaron Rodgers to the Titans is going to happen. Well, I'm looking for it. Oh, buried in the story right here. Here we go. Something we'll give eventually. A former NFL executive provided their opinion on what would happen when talking to NFL Analysis Network. I mean, this is worse than ball sack sports. They believe it will be the Jets who blink first in trade negotiations. Okay. Well, I'm still waiting to see where it says anything about the Tennessee Titans. I don't see anything here. I think it will come down to the wire. Packers aren't going to budge. The Jets are. I think Green Bay ends up swapping pick 15 for 13 and getting a second rounder to boot. Is that the Jets budging, by the way? No, Green Bay's the one that wanted the 13th pick, which they're not going to get unprotected. So I'm still looking for, one, what title does his NFL executive have? They don't have a title. There is no rumblings of the Tennessee Titans. Like, look at this right here in the story. The Tennessee Titans are the most recent team to be in touch with the Packers. Where's that coming from? Let's click this. Let's see where this is coming from. Titans have reached out to the Packers on an Aaron Rodgers trade. Okay, where's this coming from? I'm still looking. Most recently, it was reported the Niners can make a run at him should negotiations fall through. We talked about this. The Niner thing already proven to be BS. I'm still looking. Does anyone tell me where the Titans come in? Oh, we finally find it after we go to 3 different articles. According to a former NFL executive that spoke to the NFL Analysis Network, the Titans have reached out to the Packers about Rodgers. So is this opinion or is this guy actually reporting something? By the way, a former NFL executive. So what, the ball boy? You know, the assistant to the regional manager? I mean, we got to be better, people. I'm sorry. We have to be better. These rumors are absolute BS. Enough. Like that's where this is coming from. Yardbarker to NFLanalysis.com from an unnamed NFL executive who in one article gave his opinion and in another article said, oh, well, you know, the Titans have reached out. So which is it? All right. If you believe for a second the Tennessee Titans with a first-year general manager are going to go all in for Aaron Rodgers, you're nuts. You're nuts. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is dying to play with that Titans roster that won 8 games last year in an awful division. I'm sure Rodgers is dying to go to a team where Treylon Burks and Dez Fitzpatrick are 2 of his best receivers. Enough. Tennessee's been rumored to draft a quarterback. They're rebuilding there. They still have Ryan Tannehill under contract. It doesn't make sense. It is not going to happen. So I would love to know what more we need from these idiots out there who try and peddle nonsense that there's some other team involved here. There is no other team. There is no other team. An unnamed NFL executive who has no connection. It's a lie. It is made up. These websites are clear clickbait. See right through it. You go to yardbarker.com. The headline read, Titans have reached out. No, they haven't. Who reported it? You don't think that Adam Schefter, Jay Glazer, Ian Rappaport, Peter Schrager, name your NFL media person. You don't think any of these guys would come out and say, well, there's another team involved. You don't think we'd hear that by now? 8 days from the draft. You don't think we'd hear that? The only people that have said something to the likes of another team being involved is Craig Carton and an anonymous, unnamed executive that spoke with NFLanalysis.com, which is fake. It is not a real site. I mean, fake news. It's enough. If it's not coming from people credible, it's not legitimate. There is no other team. If there was another team, here's the thing. Rodgers would have to agree to go to that team. No one's acquiring Aaron Rodgers if he's disgruntled, if he doesn't want to be there. And he has said he wants to play for the Jets. He has said that a big reason why he's going to the Jets is because of his relationship with Nate Hackett, Alan Lazard. He had a great meeting with the owner, had a great meeting with the GM, had a great meeting with Robert, mentioned Robert Saleh by name. Like, it's so silly. I understand we're all dying for this deal to get done. Believe me. But the media and fans, gullible fans, are just eating up everything. And that's why you get clickbaited. That's clickbait. What I showed you going from Yardbarker to 2 different NFL analysis articles before we can even find the source of an unnamed executive either. In one article, it was an opinion. And another article, they don't even have the story right. Is it an opinion? Or this guy's actually saying, hey, Tennessee checked in. Tennessee's not doing anything. All right? Not doing crap. Have you seen their team? They stink. The only reason why they had a chance to make the playoffs last year is because they played in the worst division in the sport. If the Jets were in the AFC South, they probably would have won it last year, despite the issues at quarterback. And believe me, I've watched way too much AFC South football for my day job. But it's enough. Tennessee. Stop it. That ship has sailed. There's no team. No other team. So someone come at me with a realistic another team and we can entertain it. That team doesn't exist. So I really didn't think I was going to address this Titans thing, but enough people were like, what's the deal? I mean, if you believe that rumor, please, I beg of you, put yourself in a mental institution. Get yourself some self-help. I beg you to do such a thing. Now, let's have some fun. Let's open it up. We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about anything Jet-related that's on your mind. Super Chats, cut the line and go first. The Gusbuster hotline, the link is pinned into the live section of the comments here. So if you want in on the conversation, this is a show for the fans, and we will open it up now and hear from you. But first, let's remind everybody that calls on the show are being presented by our sponsor, Gusbuster Umbrellas. Go to gusbuster.com. Use the promo code Jake. Get 15% off any umbrella. And, of course, you could join us on the Gusbuster Umbrella hotline. Here we go to the calls. Up first is one of our favorites. Buckle up. He's ready. V-Man, you're on the Jake Asman Show. What's up, V-Man?
What's up?
What's going on?
Nothing, just relaxing, just playing a little bit from my childhood. I wonder, did you watch Ed and Eddie growing up?
I've seen it. I wasn't a huge fan of Ed, and Eddie, though. I liked other Cartoon Network shows better.
Yeah, no. I was just playing the bass line. Never know, but yeah, you're right with the whole thing that it's nonsense. It's like, so I think I have seen Kremlin propaganda that's more credible than this nonsense. I mean, it makes me laugh that how far you had to dig even to find this.
I couldn't even find it. Like I tried to be organized with it. I'm like, I'm gonna click here first, then this, and that. And like it took me longer than it should because this Fakakta website made it up and Yardbarker runs with it with a headline aggregating it. Titans have reached out. Did you check the story to see that in one story it says the guy's giving an opinion, and then in another story it's like, oh yeah, they maybe reached out. It's such nonsense.
No, you're absolutely right. It is nonsense. We just the Aaron Rodgers needs to relax. It's gonna happen. And honestly, this is what the Packers. This is the type of stuff the Packers probably want to push to try to scare. Like I said, they want to scare the Jets fans to pressure the organization to flinch. That's what they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's not gonna happen.
Wait. I asked you. I saw you like my my little narrator voice.
I didn't know you had a Dragon Ball Z voice in you, V-Man.
I don't know. Would you like me to narrate the Aaron Rodgers saga?
I would love you to do that, and I think the thousands of people watching this video would expect nothing but greatness from you. So here we go.
All right. So after this video, then I'll put a timestamp so you can sync it up with the music. Okay. Great. All right. Hold on. All right. Let's go. Did I get the voice? Will the Aaron Rodgers saga end before the draft? Will Jets fans be able to figure out what jersey they're buying? Will any of us ever do anything productive with our lives? All those answers, except the last one, will be found out on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Ladies and gentlemen, V-Man. Hopefully, Dragon Ball Z fans got that one. And if you didn't, well, then you got to hear V-Man just be V-Man. All right, good luck topping that call today, folks. The V-Man starting us off and bringing it. Jesse's got a comment. I believe is that Manish Meadow? Well done. I believe the Jets and the Packers have agreed to compensation. It just comes down to who's available at 13, if they do a pick swap or not. Everything else is clickbait till the draft. Certainly possible. Certainly possible. It's funny. What that story I did show you guys, how the executives I think the Jets are going to blink. They're going to end up trading away a second-round pick this year and do a pick swap. You mean what I've been suggesting is going to be the deal for months already on this show, and what most logical Jet fans have said, that's the deal? We have all agreed one of the 2 second-round picks would be in this trade, and perhaps a pick swap. That's not the Jets blinking. The Packers are insistent on getting a first-round pick. They don't end up with a first-round pick if that's the deal. Dumbass. I can't. People are so stupid with this. It has been fascinating to see people that despise the Jets, that know nothing about anything, lose their collective minds. Oh, I look forward to drinking their tears. I can't wait. Matthew writes in, is there any legitimate reason to be concerned about the deal not materializing? It is the Jets after all, not trolling, but we've heard the deal will get done for what seems like forever. Yeah, I mean, Matthew, nothing's changed. Has the draft happened yet? We've all said the draft would be the first deadline for something to go down. That's not for another 8 days. So there's no reason to be concerned. You have a quarterback that wants to play for the team with an enormous contract that other teams can't just take on without Rodgers' blessing. All these other teams have filled their needs. The Packers need to unload that deal at some point. You would think they'd want to get something before the draft, so the picks next year are not, so here's how I'll phrase it, right, Matthew? You think they'd want to get it done before the draft because they're going to get picks this year that can help their team. And any pick next year is not going to be as good because the Jets are going to be a good team. That's the reality. That's been the reality. Vincenzo says, Jake, take it easy. Rodgers is ours. People are looking for any excuse to rag on the Jets. Yeah, I mean, it's a done deal, Vincenzo. We all know it. We're just going to sit back and watch it unfold. The Jesus says, Jake, are you going to Kansas? Well, I think it's Missouri, right? Isn't it Kansas City, Missouri? I'm not a geography guy. But yes, I'll be at the draft. Scott Foster. Great job, Scott. Chris Paul actually won a game with you reffing last night. How about David Bakitari coming to the Jets as part of the Rodgers trade? I doubt that happens. Chris with a super chat. V-Man equals national treasure. I agree. Matt Lawrence says, hashtag Jake needs hair plugs. You're wrong. I have already had the Neil graft procedure twice for free, thanks to my guy, Dr. Linville at Hair Specialist Houston. So, Matt, if you want to get hair plugs, sounds like you need it. Check out, it's not actually hair plugs, but it's a procedure that can help your hairline. Go to 975hair.com and tell them Jake Asman sent you so I can make money off your dumb ass. Let's see. Kilkey says, I think V-Man's off the funny stuff this morning again. Off it. He's on the funny stuff. Brian says, Jake, you're a little cranky. Is that because of the Knicks last night? I'm not thrilled with the Knicks last night. There's no doubt. I don't think that's why I'm personally annoyed. I'm annoyed because I had like 10 people tweet me or DM me this Titans thing, and I'm like, I'm not going to do a video on this today, am I? But I guess I am. Moraka says, draft takes so long here. Stress is unreal for both teams, it seems. Just the pre-draft process takes forever. Forever. And specifically with this deal, this is unlike any other major sports trade, right? How often have you had a deal that everyone says is going to get done, but it hasn't happened yet? I can't remember another example like this. Mighty Buffoon says, Niners fans are saying Rodgers to the Niners in a draft day trade. Yeah, okay, I'll play along with that one. One dumbass Niners fan says that. Not true. Mike says, I heard from an exec that Rodgers is going to the Saints and the Saints are trading Carr to the Jets. Yeah, that makes no sense, Mike. Are we just making things up now? Like that's what everyone wants to do? Let's just throw out random stuff. I'm actually dating Margot Robbie now. I didn't tell anyone that, but I'm just going to tell you guys. Completely true, not made up. We've had some of the best times together. It's been a bit of a secret. I didn't want to share just yet, but things have been going really well, and I'm comfortable saying I'm actually dating Margot Robbie now. So dream come true. It's been incredible, and now you guys know. So I'm happy to share. Mike says he was making it up and kidding. Okay, Mike, we got you. It's up to tell sarcasm through text. Let's go back to the calls right now on the Gusbuster hotline. We got our guy Dirty, who's up next on the program today. What's up, Dirty?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? How's everything going today?
How are you, Dirty?
I am well. So I was looking at a few things, looking at the cap space and such, and I did see that there was one thing. Mosley's. It didn't look like he took a cap hit. Am I right on that? Like he didn't cut.
No, they haven't restructured his deal, but they did it last year. So that's an option for them if they want to create more cap space that route again.
Right. And I'm looking at that, almost looking at it as that might actually, when the Rodgers trade does come through and that does happen, I'm feeling that is when they might do that to create more of a cap. Because if you look at the number, I think it's like 21 right now. Is that the hit or something weird, crazy?
I don't have it in front of me, Dirty, but it's a very high cap hit for, CJ Moses is a good player. He shouldn't have a cap hit that high, but that's kind of the cost of doing business when you had to restructure his deal last year. The payoff is it's lower last year, and now it's higher this year.
I do have one thing that I'm actually doing. I am, and it's, if anybody wants to join, I'm giving away $200 and a free shirt. If anybody can guess, I'm going to put a video up for it. If anybody can guess the exact details of the Jets and Packers trade, the exact compensation, everything, every trade, every player. If you win, you get $200 and a free shirt.
Ooh, where can people find this?
So I actually have Iconical Wear on Instagram. I'll be putting it on that. Iconical Wear on YouTube. I'll be putting it on there too. And you can just put them all through the comments. If you see somebody else already has your trade, though, you cannot do it.
All right. Well, Dirty. Well, good job with the contest.
We're gonna make it a little interesting since they're making it interesting for us, So
I love it. There you go. The great Dirty checking in from the truck. Love to see it. Let's see. Mike says Jake's really cranky from those Knicks. I mean, I'm not thrilled. That sucked last night. I need the Islanders to win tonight. The Jesus says, Jake, forget Margot Robbie, Olivia Munn. I'm more of a Margot guy. Now, look, I'd sign up gladly for either, but that's where we're at. So, yeah, I mean, look, the cat's out of the bag. Just like, the Titans have reached out to Rodgers. We're just making things up now. So I'm now dating Margot Robbie. Chris says, who else wants a receiver in the second or third round? It's on the table. It's something they could do. I'd be a little surprised if it was in the second round, but I think it could happen. They also don't have a third round pick, Chris, so it'd have to be in the fourth round. Mr. McMoney says, Jake, did you hear the Jets were the only New York professional team to not make the playoffs last year? Yeah, I've lived it, man. I've lived it. I'm a New York sports fan. The active playoff droughts for the New York City area teams: Knicks 0, Nets 0, Devils 0, Rangers 0, Islanders 0, Giants 0, Yankees 0, Mets 0, Jets 12. And some of you morons didn't want Aaron Rodgers at the beginning of all this. Oh, we should run it back with Zach and tank for Caleb Williams. Remember that? Or, let's just settle for Derek Carr. Brutal. Now, regardless of what happens with Aaron Rodgers once this deal is done, this was always the right move. Going for it. And you got to respect that. Some more fake rumors to react to. Sources: Packers shocked the NFL with a trade of Rodgers to the Panthers for the number 1 pick, and the Jets will draft Bryce Young with the pick. Here's what I can tell you is not going to happen. That Carolina would say no. They traded a fortune to go up to number 1. So what they're going to do is they're going to take a quarterback that could be there for 15 years in their eyes, not a quarterback in Rodgers who could retire after 1. NY Cursor says there have been so many guesses, someone's bound to have guessed the trade already. Probably. My prediction is whatever the trade ends up being, there's going to be a slightly weird quirk in it that no one saw coming. Mighty Buffoon says if Rodgers goes to the Titans, then we'll be going after Matt Ryan. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Into the shadow realm round you go.
What are we doing here? Rodgers is not going to the Titans. If you suggest that, you're going in the wrong. That's a fake rumor, not real. Brandon says, Jake, I've been on vacation the past week. What have I missed? Honestly, not much other than more fake rumors coming out. If you just tuned in, I encourage everyone to rewind to the beginning of the video. That Rodgers to the Titans nonsense that was floated out there, we actually went through 3 different articles to find out the source of that by an unnamed NFL executive that in one story said was giving his opinion, and in another story said he's heard Tennessee's going to reach out. It's just such nonsense. From a fakakta website called like Football Analysis or something. It's unreal. Johnny says, quick question. Why are Max Duggan and Stetson Bennett dropping out of the draft? I think either would be good competition for a backup. Rodgers will be here. I mean, Stetson Bennett apparently did not impress in the interviews, they said. He got arrested this offseason for a DWI or public intoxication, I think it was. Duggan, I don't know. I did not hear that Duggan's going to be undrafted. I think Duggan gets drafted. So we'll see. Back to the calls we go. Dan, the Jet fan, you're next up on the hotline today. What's up, Dan?
What's up, Jake? Happy Wednesday to you.
You too, Dan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, man, should we be petrified over the Titans or the 49ers swooping in to steal Aaron Rodgers from us?
I'm scared crapless, Dan. I don't know what to do.
I've seen some pretty stupid things in the course of my life, but man, it's just one of the dumbest takes I've ever seen. There is no team that is going to come in and steal Aaron Rodgers. It's just not possible. Really, he's already committed to us, and really, we're the only team that makes sense for him. He's already, like I said, he's already agreed to this team. Also, I gotta tell you something. Zach Wilson, I really don't think he's that good. I think there's a chance he could beat out Tim Boyle to get the backup job. Now, I just don't know how much confidence really the organization has in him, because I did go back a little bit, rewatch a little bit of the season, the Lion game. I don't know if you remember on the last drive, when the Jets were trying to, obviously needing to go to get a field goal to tie the game to put it into overtime. I remember even watching, even in live time as a fan, I really thought, don't call a timeout, because he's just a turnover. He's prone to be a turnover worthy machine. Who didn't think that he was going to throw an interception on that drive? If he did throw an interception, we can call our timeouts and we can get the ball back. But really, I just thought, preserve the timeouts. It doesn't make sense, because really, he's just not a great quarterback. He doesn't.
Well, Dan, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like you needed to call timeouts at the end of the Lions game, and Solomon mishandled the clock. They should have had more time.
The Jets had over a minute and a half left in the game, and they still had all 3 of their timeouts. If Zach had actually turned the ball over on the first few seconds, the Jets could have called a timeout. 3 timeouts if they went back to defense.
I appreciate the call. That doesn't make any sense. That makes 0 sense. You're trying to win the game there. Trying to get in field goal range, so at least send it to overtime. You don't assume Zach Wilson's going to throw an interception on that drive. That makes no sense. Salah told you he mishandled that clock situation. That makes absolutely no sense. You use your timeouts to get yourself a chance to get in the field goal range. Not, in case Zach Wilson throws a pick, then we still have our 3 timeouts to use to maybe get the ball back with even less time and now no timeouts needing a field goal. That makes 0 sense. Your first point, most people in here agree. They don't think Zach Wilson's any good. The Jets don't think he's any good. That's why they're trying to replace him. But I don't know where we're going with the Lion game. That made no sense. But I appreciate the call as always, Dan. The Power writes in with a super chat. The amount of money in articles, photo rights, and logo rights is enormous. The offseason attention and coverage is extremely lucrative. Of course it is. The NFL is a 365-day sport now. I mean, there's a primetime special for the schedule release. We animals get excited to see what the Jets are going to play and when they're going to play them. Yeah. But that's the whole point, is these rumors that are out there, if it's not coming from a credible outlet or a credible reporter, don't believe it. That was the dumbest thing ever, trying to find this article where the Titans thing came from. Footballanalysis.com, an unnamed executive in one story gave an opinion, and then the next he's like, I heard the Titans. And no other outlet ran with it other than Yardbarker, which just aggregates other content and has a clickbaity headline. Titans have reached out about Rodgers. No, they haven't. It's not real. We got to be smarter as fans. V-Man writes in with a super chat. My secret is I'm a secret agent for the CIA working with the Ukrainians to rescue Paul Whelan. And what are we doing here, V-Man? I'm not answering this one. I don't even know what you're talking about. Mr. McMoney says, thoughts on the Trey Lance rumors? You know, it's kind of funny, right? Trey Lance ends up being a worse pick than Zach Wilson from this standpoint. Now, he's only played 8 career games, so we'll see. But if Trey Lance ends up being a bust, he's a bigger bust than Zach Wilson. I'll tell you why. The Niners traded 3 ones to go and get him. They moved up from 12 to 3. Traded their 1 that year and 2 future ones. 3 total ones. And look, it sounds like they're going to keep him because Brock Purdy's future is unknown. We know they signed Sam Darnold. But, yeah, I mean, here's why the Niners get a pass for it, though. They made the championship game the last couple of years. They've been able to overcome it because of how good of a coach Kyle Shanahan is and how good that roster is. The big fellow writes in, how the hell did the Knicks get the 5th seed? They look like they should have been in the lottery last night. I mean, how did they get the 5th seed? I mean, look at the record. Like, were you saying that when they won game 1 on the road? Like, it's a long series. That's why, like, I didn't think the Knicks were going to win last night. I think the Cavs are too good of a team. Now the Knicks got to win both game 3 and game 4 at the Garden. Friday night's going to be electric. But it's a long series. I mean, the Knicks are not going to win this in 4. Would have been nice, but it's not going to happen. Stay Gold Jet says Rodgers lives in Nashville. He does not. He lives in California. That is false. Back to the calls we go. We got Victor on the line. He's up next on the hotline. What's up, Victor?
How you doing, Jake? Before I make my point, I don't know if I read that wrong from one of the comments, the Carolina comment. He said Carolina's going to trade for the Packers. The Packers are going to trade Rodgers to Carolina, and then the Jets are going to have the number 1 pick all of a sudden and just select Bryce Young. I don't know how the Jets got involved in that trade, that rumor he made up. But I just want to – I woke up today and I heard the Tennessee rumor or whatever. And I just want us as Jet fans and people that are from other teams to take out the emotion, just add logic to what's going on, right? We never had, as Jet fans, Aaron Rodgers on the team. We want him. We've never had him. How many times have we been burnt? How many times have we thrown the Hail Mary and been burnt? If we were not, we know we're going to get him. But if we weren't to get him, right, it's just another offseason that the Jets experience every year. Tariq Hill, all these players that we thought we were going to get and we just don't get. The difference is the Packers do have Rodgers and they want to get rid of him. They want to get rid of him. He doesn't want to be there. They have a quarterback, unlike Zach, that has 2 years left and they have to pick up the option. They have to see what they have in him. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a Hail Mary. We're throwing the Hail Mary. If we get it, we get the touchdown, win the game, amazing. If we don't, at least we tried.
Yeah. Well,
they're the defense.
Yeah, for sure, Victor, but and I appreciate the call. It's not a Hail Mary, though. See, when we talk about the Jets linked to other players over the years, they were not good enough to add these players. Like, veteran players did not want to come here to play on a bad team. The reason why they're going to land Aaron Rodgers is because the rest of the roster makes them a Super Bowl contender once they add him. It's not a Hail Mary. Was it a Hail Mary when Tampa Bay signed Tom Brady? No, Brady looked at that team and said they won 7 games with Jameis Winston, throwing 30 interceptions in a year. They have elite weapons. They have an elite defense. They have a really good head coach. He went there and won a championship. That wasn't a Hail Mary. That was a smart decision Brady made. Rodgers is making a smart decision. He's going to a team that gives him the best chance to win out of his available options. That's the reality. Jesus says, what are your thoughts on the movie Old School? This is probably the most random question we'll get today. Great movie. Big fan. I actually had Luke Wilson on my radio show a couple of years ago. He couldn't have been nicer. Kay says, Zach will be better this year after learning more from Rodgers. Hopefully we don't have to see Zach at all. All right? Hopefully his improvements happen when we're not watching. The big fella with a super chat. Jake, what's the situation at safety? We signed Chuck Clark, who I like a lot. Is Joyner on the roster? Is it going to be Whitehead and Adams? No, I think one, you traded for Chuck Clark. He's going to start opposite Whitehead right now. And Tony Adams, they like. Ashton Davis is still here. I think there's a strong chance they draft a safety. So we'll see what the room looks like. There's also a chance they can add another. They can bring back LaMarcus Joyner after the draft. At this point, if there's been no signings, the moves are going to happen post-draft, it feels like. John says, V-Man's the most famous Jet fan besides Fireman Ed. Not counting celebrities. That is a bold take. I would consider Fireman Ed a celebrity, no? Joe the Jet says, why do I get a feeling we're not getting Aaron? Because you're a negative Jet fan that expects the worst to happen to you? I don't know. You're going to have to answer that question yourself. Back to the calls we go. Let's go to Ricky. He joins us on the show. What's up, Ricky?
What's happening, Jake? Jets fans, let's all get together and give a good happy birthday to the guy with the fastest first step in the NFL. Today is Bryce Huff's birthday. So glad he's back with the team. So glad. I'm back in full form today. The last couple of times, coming off a little sleep, whatever. I mean, I missed a couple of days and came back. The Shadow Realm was all redone and fancy. And I had just gotten used to that eye. I even gave it a name, the Eye of Waska, in honor of Aaron.
Our guy Gator made us some upgrades to the realm. So we had to make the changes because that guy is a talent.
Yeah, I know. And, man, why would anybody think that A-Rod isn't coming here? I don't subscribe to that same old Jets thing. I mean, for going into this off season, everybody said, "Oh, we need to improve our depth," and we've made a bunch of depth signings, and now people are mad because we haven't made the splashy signing. There's just no pleasing some people. We got rid of Braden Mann, one of the worst guys to ever put his foot to football. Not the worst, because I'll tell you right now, if Doug Bryan was to walk up right now, I would punch him in the face on camera. That guy ruined some of my happiest years as a fan. Hate Doug Bryan. At any rate, gosh, the draft is so close. And Neil's going to freak out when I say this, but I'm starting to be of the opinion we've waited this long. I can wait another week or so. Let's keep all those picks, and I've been all in on Rodgers from the beginning. In no way would I suggest keeping draft picks over getting him. And Will Parkinson out there, get ready to cringe somewhere. I want that safety from Georgia. So not at the expense of Rodgers, but man, I really would like to keep all of our picks this year. And it's just a matter of when that thing gets done. I still really believe that I think it's going to get done like day 2 of the draft. We're keeping our top pick. JD's not going to give it away. And, we got great things in store for us, Jets fans. That's all I got to say. It's in JD's hands. Draft rookies of the year, not beer. Smoke more.
Ricky, what a call. Yeah, look, if the Jets don't make the Rodgers trade before the draft, they don't make it during the draft, and Joe Douglas gets 3 picks in the top 43, it's kind of exciting, no? Then it's not going to get done till like June 1 at the earliest at that point, but that's exciting. Braden Mann's actually watching the show. He says, watch your mouth, Ricky. Braden, I know what to do with you.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
Farewell, Braden Mann. Thank God Thomas Morstead was re-signed. When they brought him in, when Braden Mann was hurt, he never should have left. That was a huge move for the Jets. Super chat from Edward to get caught up on. Zach and A-Rod will be hanging out, doing some shrooms. Sack's mind will Zach's mind will expand and he'll finally figure out the playbook and ball out in 2 years. LOL. From your lips to God's ears, Edward. Honestly, if Rodgers really wants to experience what it's like to be a Jet, him and V-Man need to link up and smoke some pot together. Let's call it for what it is. In for Ed says, Zach's good at Hail Marys but can't hit a check down. I mean, Zach has all the physical traits. We've seen it. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's athletic. He's mobile. His footwork is a disaster. Mentally, he was fried by the end of last year. It fell apart. We know what the issues were. We watched it. I'm no quarterback expert, but I know what bad quarterback play looks like. I'm a Jet fan. That's most of what I've known my whole life. Rich says, shank you very much, Braden. I did shank a lot. C. Watson says, is there food in the Shadow Realm for the guys? There's not. Nothing. You just sit there and you rot. Now, it's only 5 minutes at a time. Unless you're FM, then you're in there for life. Notice no Jets forever today. I wonder where he's at. Did his mom forget to, charge the batteries last night? Minnesota Jet fan says, people here in Minnesota are laughing at me because they truly believe Aaron isn't coming to the Jets. After all the rah-rah I was doing about Rodgers, the deal needs to be done. Just hang in there. It'll get done. John says, is this trade happening next week? I've said from the beginning, once we got after the post-owners meetings, I'm like, it's probably at this point the week of the draft. So we'll see. I think it could be done next week. Obviously, it could be done during the draft, too. How crazy would that be? NJ Rocket says, the Packers are a car dealership. No one's looked at the car in weeks. We show interest, and they say $1,000 above price. Yeah, it's supply and demand. They don't have the demand. Like, there's no other team. In for Ed says, does the Shadow Realm have a shower? No. You sit there in your own filth. R&R says, keep the picks and go offensive tackle, defensive tackle, center. I mean, those three positions certainly are possible with their first three picks, RR, if they don't make the deal. Now, if they do make the deal and one of the twos is in it, I think it's still offensive tackle, DT, offensive tackle, center. That's possible. C. Watson says, you're going to Kansas City, aren't you? If so, have a safe trip there and back. Thank you, C. Watson. I will, in fact, be there. I think the temperature in Kansas City is going to be like in the 50s. So, just arrived yesterday. A brand new Jets bomber jacket that I will be rocking. So, I'm excited. A little throwback. This, by the way, should be the Jets logo still. If I had it my way. So, I'm pumped. We'll be at the draft. I'll be representing all the Jet fans. Can't wait. Can't wait. Personally, I hope the deal's done before the draft so we can focus just on the draft when we're there. Let's see. Jesus says, thoughts on a potential uni change. I've been wanting the Jets to bring back the 80s/early 90s jerseys for a throwback, the Sack Exchange jerseys, for years. John says, Jake, doesn't Rodgers have a say in this? Yeah, he's not going to go to a team that he doesn't want to play for. And there's no other team. He's already said he intends to play for the Jets. He's not bailing on Hackett. He's not bailing on Saleh. He's not bailing on Allen Lazard. He's working out with Allen Lazard, for crying out loud. There's only one team in the NFL that's willing to take on that contract and give draft capital. That's it. Regular Guy TV says, hey, Jake, you think we only have Rodgers for a year or you're thinking 2? I have felt it will be 2 years of Rodgers. But it is possible it's a year. That's why the Jets are not going to give them a first-round pick unprotected. Kevin writes in, Jake was wrong on Zach for 2 years, but now I should believe him on what happens with Rodgers. You don't have to believe me, Kevin. All right? I do this every day. I give an opinion. You don't have to agree with my opinion. That's fine. I'm telling you, I think the Rodgers deal is done and it's going to happen. If you disagree, that's cool. That's your right. But you're tuned in to watch my show because I give daily opinions on your favorite football team. You don't have to agree. And no one's holding you hostage. You don't have to watch. There's a bunch of other YouTubers out there, and they're all really good. Joey Jet says, Jake, do you IOU for, I don't know what this means, Joey Jet. Something about a super chat. So if you post a super chat, which for those new to the show, a super chat is when you pay money for your comment to come up first on the YouTube feed. Those always get read first. Like this. Here's from Credible Commenter. I think it's very possible that Rodgers has watched the Jake Asman show. I think it's highly unlikely he has. But if he has, we'd love to have him on. We'd have a great time together. Appreciate the super chat, Credible Commenter. Drew says that jacket's fresh. KG says the jacket's fire. Bodie says, love the jacket. Yeah, it's an awesome jacket. I'm pumped. Jesse says, what do you think is fair compensation if we get past the draft? 3rd round pick. Conditional 3rd. That's it. That's what I would do if I'm the Jets. I say, hey, after the draft, our offer is going to be less. I mean, I give him a conditional 3rd. Same details as the Favre trade. Because, by the way, once we get past the draft, you know what the Aaron Rodgers situation turns into? Brett Favre. It's exactly like Brett Favre. Only Favre didn't have an albatross of a contract the Jets took on in 2008. Rodgers does. So, honestly, the Jets had the leverage after the draft. Now, Green Bay could wait till September before the week of the season to trade him. So the Jets would have to deal with not having a quarterback till then. But Rodgers could communicate with Nate Hackett and get the offense. If Baker Mayfield could get traded on a Tuesday and start on a Thursday and win a game, I think Rodgers will be fine. Aaron Rodgers blindfolded is an upgrade over Zach Wilson, if we're being honest. I don't say that to make a joke. I say that to speak facts. So I'll take my chances. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what's the compensation past the draft? Hey, here's a 3rd round pick. The Favre trade was actually a 4th round pick. It could become a 3rd based on playing time. It could become a 2nd based on if the Jets made the playoffs. And it was a 1st, I think, if the Jets made the Super Bowl. It was something like that. I don't remember. It's 15 years ago now. I don't remember exactly what it was. But it was a conditional 4. So, you know what happens after the draft, Green Bay? That's the best offer the Jets are going to give you because you're going to have to eventually trade Rodgers when he shows up the training camp and makes life hell for everyone. Hennessy says today's price is not yesterday's price. Amen. Joey Jet says, Jake, you need to get A-Rod when it's official. Look, if Rodgers wants to come on the show, we'll welcome him anytime. If Aaron Rodgers wants the Jake Asman show to be his McAfee show when he's with the Jets, I got him. You know, he could do the national hit with Pat. He could do the local hit with us. Frank says, I have the 80s helmet tatted on my back. Respect. Joel says, love the comment that a blindfolded Rodgers is better than Zach. I mean, I'm not even trying to be mean. Am I wrong? Seriously. You don't think Aaron Rodgers blindfolded would be a better quarterback? Aaron Rodgers could, like, use the force. He could feel the pressure. All right? He'd be like Peter LaFleur in the movie Dodgeball. I mean, Zach Wilson would miss throws to guys that are 5 feet from him. Matthew says, more likely that we saw Rodgers or Margot Robbie on the Jake Asman show. Well, considering, you know, we're just making things up now. And I said earlier that, you know, just like Aaron Rodgers and the Titans is going to happen, I'm now dating Margot Robbie. It's got to be Margot Robbie, right? Pierre says, forgot to tell you, they used the A-Rod edit on ESPN yesterday, putting on the hat. Gator needs to be paid for that. ESPN made that. Gators made a lot of cool stuff. This right here you're referring to, ESPN made. And what I did is I removed the music they had with it and added the Jets chant so we can have more fun with it on this channel. ESPN made that. I just took the rap song they had underneath it for copyright purposes, and I'm like, let's put the Jet chant underneath. FA says Packers fans are delusional. Not all of them. Not all of them. Let's Get Weird says, can't wait to take shots with you on the air after we pick up A-Rod. Looking forward to it. Johnny says, when are we getting Rex on the show? I have tried. I will continue to try. I have not been able to get a contact for Rex Ryan. That's the guy. All right, that's the interview I want to do. I think pound for pound, I would give the best Rex Ryan interview he's done. We would go in detail, like game by game. That's how good my memory is with the 09 and 10 Jets. Dave says, Jake, we need to stay patient and trust Douglas. You're talking to the wrong guy. I've been very patient. All right, I'm a Jet fan. All right, it's been 12 years without the playoffs. Joel says, what site do you use to purchase your jerseys? Can't say it publicly. It's parts unknown. You need to message me privately, and I'll share the link. Matthew says, how much is Zach going to play in the Hall of Fame game in Canton? Probably 3/4. Realistically. Let's go back to the phones right now. We got our guy, Dre Swayze, joining us. Terrell, if you get your camera on, we'll come to you next before we wrap up. But Dre, you're up next on the Gusbuster Hotline. What's going on?
Yo, Jake, what's up? Can you hear me?
We hear you, Dre. What's up, man?
Man, just want to say the same thing that I said the last time I came up on this show, man. All this trade talk and new teams trying to come in for Rodgers. We already heard the man say he wants to play for the Jets. No other team in 2023. All we have to do is RELAX. Relax.
Dre.
Shout out to you,
Well
Jake.
said.
Thank you.
Great call. Great call by Dre. Yeah, it's going to get done. We've made it this long. We can make another 8 days potentially. Super chat from Daryl. He cuts the line. How many yards and how many touchdowns will Rodgers have? I'll say 31 touchdowns, and I'll say 4,200 yards. And that honestly, that could be low as far as touchdowns. But I'm expecting Breece Hall to be a beast. So I don't think he needs to throw 40-something touchdowns. He could, because we're going to get MVP Rodgers. We're going to get spiteful Rodgers. We're going to get pissed off Aaron Rodgers. But I'm very confident. Let's go back to the calls. Terrell is up next on the hotline. What's up, Terrell?
How you doing, Jake? Can you hear me fine?
We hear you. What's going on?
Yeah, I want to say two things about this whole Aaron Rodgers thing. One, I don't think this whole holdout with the compensation has anything to do with the Pat McAfee show. I think it has everything to do with their meeting. And I think in their meeting, he expressed to the Jets that he's really seriously only playing 1 year. Like 1 year and 1 year only. And if you watch that Brandon Marshall interview, he says, oh, can I be a Jets legend or can someone be a Jets legend with only 1 year? Like he let us all know. So the Jets saying, okay, it's not going to be 2 years. It's only going to be one. No, we have to change up our compensation. So do you think there's any credence to that?
Yeah, 100%. Good call, Terrell. Now, the thing with that Marshall interview, did he think Brandon Marshall only played 1 year with the Jets? Or was he saying he's only going to play 1 year with the Jets? Obviously, that video was on a Saturday. He went on McAfee that Tuesday saying that he was going to, intend to play for the Jets. He said on Friday he had determined what his intentions were, right? And that video was the next day. So he knew he was going to the Jets at that point. That interview, though, was unclear, and we broke it down then. If he was referring to Marshall only playing 1 year with the Jets or him. I actually have the interview here. Let's go back and let's kind of break it down one more time.
And Woody Johnson, how was that meeting?
Oh, that was it's always interesting meeting important figures in the sport. It's always interesting. That's all I'm giving you.
Just there now.
That's all I'm giving you.
A-Rod.
Little bit of chemistry here.
Brooklyn. What we doing, A-Rod?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned? How long we got to wait?
Well, I think it won't be long. There's a time limit for all
Can I
this.
break the news? Especially if it's the Jets, because I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm an all-time Jet. That's fair, right? The Jet can break the news.
You're an all-time Jet?
Yeah,
How many years were you
check
there?
the numbers. Doesn't matter.
I think of you as a Bear. Not about numbers.
I'm
I
all
just think
time
of you as a
Bear too.
because that's why I played against you.
I'm all-time Bear too.
I'm not saying you are. I agree you are.
Just like you're an all-time Packer, you can be an all-time Jet.
Down on the
Not if you only play 1 year, you can't be an all-time.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Numbers don't lie.
You can't be.
Check the numbers when you get there.
Organizations have history, right? There's about
Right? Like, at first I'm like, oh, maybe he is saying he's only playing 1 year. But then he brings up, then Marshall goes, check the numbers. So then it has me saying, well, Marshall's talking about himself, but is Rodgers talking about him? I don't know. I don't think it really matters. If it's 1 year, we'll worry about that after this deal's done and after, hopefully, the Jets win a Super Bowl. That's the goal. And we have the most fun we've had as Jet fans in years. So, good call by Terrell. I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what. If the Jets get Rodgers, and they will, and he goes out there and has a great season, and they come up short of the Super Bowl because they lose the Kansas City in the championship game, is Rodgers really going to retire, or is he going to try one more year? 1 more year, second year in this system, another offseason, another year of these young players growing. Like, I don't know. Rodgers is an odd guy, but we know his contract is going to be set up where he's going to be owed another $50 million if he plays an extra year. That's a lot of money to walk away from. Braden Mann chimes in. I'm an all-time Jet. Yeah, an all-time Jet bust to the realm.
Into the shadow realm you go.
Man, Braden Mann. We will not miss you. Boogie Woogie with a super chat. My Hoboken connection assured me this whole Rodgers thing will be finished soon. Just hit the like button and chill. Kick ass, Jake. Boogie Woogie, thank you for your support. These super chats go a long way and helps the channel continue to grow. So I appreciate it, and I'm with you. It's going to get done. I mean, I don't see how it doesn't. Edward says Marshall was good, but he's not an all-time Jet. He played 2 years for the Jets. He's not an all-time Jet. Now, if Rodgers plays 2 years for the Jets, but he wins a ring, he's an all-time Jet. It's different when you're a quarterback. Brandon Marshall had an all-time Jet season. His 2015 season, if you go look, it's probably the single greatest wide receiver season in the history of the franchise. It really is. And that's no disrespect to Keyshawn, Don Maynard, Annie Wayne Corbett season, Al Toon. No disrespect to any of those guys. But pound for pound, that 2015 season, most of the Jet records were set that year. And it's not like Rodgers was throwing to Brandon Marshall. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick. So Marshall was an all-time Jet in a year, but you're not an all-time Jet if you played 2 years. Only one of them was good. 2016, he sucked. That team was awful. Mr. 40 Acres says, what's up with Quinnen Williams? I think post-draft it gets done. Quinnen not showing up to OTAs is not surprising. Not surprising at all. This was always going to be expected. We're going to end it right there. I got family in town, so I'm going to go get some lunch with them before I have to get to work later this afternoon. Appreciate all of you for watching today's show. Do me a favor. If you like the content, if you like the Jets, if you think people that believe these rumors are idiots, then hit the like button down below. And on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see a button that says subscribe. Click that, and your dreams will happen. If you don't click it, your dreams will not come true. I'm sorry, those are the rules. I don't make them, I just follow them. Thank you all for watching. Jet fans, you guys are the greatest. We'll end on a high note. We'll end with some Rodgers magic. Here we go. Have a good Wednesday, everybody.